Here along Stately High Street in historic Bethlehem, between Church Street and Market, is a lovely and impressive row of homes. Some years ago, I was told these homes were built by a wealthy industrialist in the 19th century, and that he constructed them about a block away from his home, and that the townhouses were actually constructed for his adult children, or at least that's the way the story went. Well, today on Exploring Bethlehem, we'll tell the story of the man who built the homes, and also behind the very profitable slate industry that he was involved in, as well as the man's connection to Bethlehem, here on Exploring Bethlehem.
William Chapman entered the duties of life unaided by influential friends or advantageous circumstances, and was the sole architect of his own fortune, molding his own character and shaping his own destiny.
That high praise saluted a true self-made man at the time of his death. William Chapman was born in 1816 and was of Cornish extraction and from Cornwall, England. He began working the mines by age 7. Since slate quarrying was big business in England, William was accomplished as a young man. As such, he had a useful skill that he brought with him as he emigrated to America. He ended up in Northampton County in 1842. It just so happened to be a very good time for ambitious men, as the Industrial Revolution was just beginning and America was transitioning from an agrarian economy toward one dominated by industry. Canals, coal, railroads and zinc, iron and eventually steel began to dominate the nation. Against this backdrop, smart and aggressive young men like William would thrive. After exploring the slate fields of the Delaware Water Gap, he leased property in Northampton County, which he later purchased and began the Chapman Slate Company. While the quarries were originally opened in 1850, the company itself was officially incorporated by a special act of the legislature of Pennsylvania in 1864 with a capital stock of $300,000. Put into perspective, that sum was equal to about $9.5 million of today's dollars. The quarry itself grew to a considerable size, measuring from 700 to 800 feet along a longitudinal joint and was about 200 feet wide and 300 feet deep. The company erected in 1875 a factory for sawing, planing and manufacturing slate rock into tables and countertops, cisterns, mantels, lintels, blackboards, windowsills, coping, stairways, floor tiles, ridgepoles and flagging. In addition, they manufactured billiard tables. Because of its hardness, the rock was not used for structural purposes but instead primarily for roofing slate and other functions. Although the quarries at Chapman produced a significant amount of slate, it was actually a method for slate delivery, invented in Chapman, that would have the biggest impact on the industry. The method of hoisting and conveying by means of a suspended wire rope, known as an inclined cableway, was first employed by the Chapman Slate Company at Chapman Quarries about 1870, being invented by Richard Chapman. As quarrying operation began, a small, company town grew up around the quarry. It became known as Chapman Quarry, or simply as Chapman's. This was in 1865. Today Chapman Borough is the smallest in all of Northampton County. The quarry brought skilled slaters from northern Wales, Cornwall, and Devon, along with labourers from Italy, into the gentle farmlands of eastern Pennsylvania. Chapman was a classic company town populated almost entirely by Chapman Slate employees. They lived in company-owned homes and bought goods at a company-owned store. The borough once boasted 2 churches, a school, a post office, a hotel, and a railroad station. Today, only the Chapman Quarries United Methodist Church remains. Before long, the Chapman Slate Company was wildly successful, and at the time of Chapman's death in 1902, the company was valued at more than $400,000. That would be equal to almost $13 million today. Chapman slate was used on many important buildings including Trinity Church and Grand Central Station in New York City. William Chapman chose Bethlehem as his home and as the base of his business. By 1868, Chapman owned a large home on the northwest corner of Church Street and High Street in Bethlehem. This building no longer stands. Around 1880 to 1890, he subdivided the back third of his property and built these townhomes as an investment for children, which included 7 daughters and 4 sons. By 1900, it's likely that Chapman retired from the slate business and began investing in real estate.